Yeah, so okay, the four pillars of destiny. So this is a really important concept. A lot of people know their Chinese animal sign and they'll sort of say, oh, I'm a snake or oh, I'm a dog. But there's four pillars, the year, the month, the day, and the hour that affect what happened to us in life. Okay, so if you know your year, month, day, and hour, each one of those has an animal sign and then an associated heavenly stem. Okay, so the heavenly stems you'll see along the top, and they're always one of the five phases of energy. So they're going to be metal, water, wood, fire, or earth. Okay, so there's five elements. There's 12 astrological signs, and there's a yin and a yang of each of the five elements. Okay, so we have 10 stems and 12 astrological signs, and together they make up actually 60 pillars because a pillar is either yin or yang. We don't have a yin snake and a yang snake, we only have a yin snake. So there's actually 60 pillars of destiny, and each of us has four in our chart, and they're made up of four elements on the heavenly stems and four animals on the earthly branches. Okay, and this is really important because we can say generally what's happening in the year of the snake. It's generally good for the rooster and the ox. It's generally really nice for the monkey. But we want to understand that that's just the first house, or what I call the celestial house or the celestial pillar. It's the pillar of the year you're born under. And to some extent, it's true. Everyone in kindergarten with you would have been the same sign as you. And so everybody kind of would have had the same year. And you can ask any kindergarten teacher. In fact, I think it's kind of interesting to watch as the years go by and they teach kindergarten and like a big pack of snakes goes through, and then a whole bunch of horses the next year and a whole bunch of goats the next year. And it's a very different, type of class every year, depending on what you have. But of course, each person in that class is an individual. They're all born in different months. Like John told me, he's born in the month of April, so he's probably a dragon, and so everyone has these depths, these layers. And the most important layer of your chart in Chinese astrology, a very important thing to read first, is your day master. And this is the element of the day that you're born on. Okay, so each of us can learn our day master just by looking, and the Chinese charts are read from right to left. So you're going to have the year on the right, and then the month beside it, and then the day is the third pillar from the left, or the second pillar from the right. And the element of the day is the most important element in your chart. Okay, so I want you to just circle it or write it down. It's going to be one of the five phases: metal, water, wood, fire, or earth. And so you want to know what element it is and whether it's yang or yin. And one of the things I learned early on is that I have 3 yin pillars. Okay, so right across the top, it's yin, 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 and then 1 yang pillar in the 4th house. Okay, so if you have more yin than yang in your chart, you're going to be more tranquil, more calm, more quiet, maybe even, I would guess, more introverted. It's one of the things I look at. I think, oh, is there a lot of yang? Is there a lot of yin? What's in this chart, right? So that's the first thing. So the second thing is you look at, how many other elements are around the self element. Okay, balanced charts are going to have a harmony of lots of different elements, a little bit of water, a little bit of earth, a little bit of wood, a little bit of fire. And these people are going to be more balanced people. And I appreciate balance a lot. When I come across it, I'm always like, oh, hey, here's somebody who actually has a little bit of stability in their personality and they're, a little easier to be around. But the thing about balance is it's not exceptional. It's actually quite ordinary. It's a little bit boring, right? If your chart has lots of different elements in it, it kind of, floats along and it's very ordinary. But if you have lots of one element or you have a chart that flows toward one thing really strongly during certain times, then you might have a more exceptional personality. You might have really high achievements, and with that comes some difficult parts of your personality that might not be appreciated by everybody. You might have more challenging relationships if you have an exceptional chart, but most people are kind of in this in-between balance place, and there's most elements represented. If you're missing an element, it's very, very important to watch for that element through time, because if you're missing an element from your chart and you suddenly come across it, all of a sudden you feel better, or you feel like something's shifted, or you feel an opportunity you've always waited for comes along. So those are interesting things just to think about. If you look at your chart and you think, oh, I have a lot of water. Why is that? Or It's the same in other methods as well of astrology. It's something that you see all the time. People will kind of compare themselves depending on how much fire they have or etc. So we're still in the wood flow. Okay, so last year was wood dragon. Now the animal signs all have hidden elements. So after you start to learn the signs, you start to realize that, oh, okay, the animal signs are just kind of like expressions of elements. So the dragon, within the dragon, there's some earth, there's a little bit of yin water and yin wood. So the dragon is what I call a robust pillar. The wood dragon had wood in the stems and wood in the branch. So this makes it a very strong dragon. Okay, so the year of the wood dragon is one of the strongest dragons. It's stronger than the fire dragon because the fire dragon doesn't have fire to root it. It's stronger than the earth dragon or competes directly. So it wasn't a very easy year for dragons. And I just want to tell you guys, if you have dragon in your chart, the snake year will be way better. Dragons and snakes they don't have like a pairing or anything, but the dragon is the doer and the snake is the planner. And so if you can get the dragon and the snake working together, or if you have the dragon and the snake in your chart, you're quite a lucky personality because the dragon and the snake, they do really well together. So if you had a rough year in the year of the dragons, I know you did, you're going to have a much better year in the year of the snake because that planning energy comes in, the plan gets executed, and the dragon achieves. So it'd be a good year for dragons, finally. But what I was saying about the wood is last year we had a full wood stem, a wood branch, and then this year, at the beginning of the year, we have a wood stem again. So the wood basically began in 2024 and flows all the way through until the midpoint of this year, June 2025, is all wood flow. Okay, and we have the monthly energies and things coming through, but generally speaking, wood is really strong right now. And some would argue, I mean, sort of general popular Chinese astrology says that the age of fire started in 2024, Hai Ying. And when the age of fire actually started, in my opinion, was 2020. Because we could argue that does energy start in a wood year? Why would it, right? Energy starts in metal. It starts in ether. It starts in that expanded place of, I believe, metal. And the metal rat, which was 2020, which we all know was a pretty powerful year for most of us, was the initiation of the 60 pillars. So the metal rat is first. It's the first pillar. And so I'm not sure why the Chinese say that 2024, they do this thing where they say an age is 20 years. So 2004 to 2024 is age 8, or the age of industrialization, wealth accumulation. And then 2024 to 2064 is age 9, which is the age of fire and spiritual transformation. And then the age of 2044 to 2064 is the age of awakening, spiritual mental awakening or awareness. So, when we look at those, it's kind of an oversimplification, I think, of the 20-year cycle. So it's my opinion that 2020 was actually the beginning of a 60-year phase, and it also shifted us into the age of fire. And I want to mention it because, the age of fire, okay, we've seen fires already. And in this wood year, it fuels the fire. Okay, wood is nourishment to fire. Wood builds fire. Wood is required for fire to burn. And so this last year and the next 6 months are all wood. I think we'll see as it transforms and we get into 2.5 years of fire, starting mid-year until the end of 2027. We have all fire. We have the snake, which has a hidden fire in the branch. And we have the utmost fire, fire horse, coming up in 2026. Very hot year. If you do not like fire, you will have a very tough year that year because you cannot beat the fire. It's going to be the hottest year in 60 years. Since 1966, the last year of the fire horse. And then as you go forward into fire snake, it cools a little bit. And then we move into earth in 2028. So what I wanted to say is with this initiation of the age of fire and all this wood, there is this upward rising force. So wood is associated with the rising force of qi. Fire burns it up, but wood grows. So anytime we're in a wood flow, our strategy should be to grow. Anyone who has a lot of wood in their chart is going to do a lot of growing. So wood naturally grows. It's like bamboo or strong trees, or, yangwood is, of course, a tall tree, a big fir tree in the forest with its huge reaching branches. And then yin wood is a flower. I always think of yin wood as a flower because I know so many yin wood friends and so many yin wood clients, and they're all just they're so cute. They're just like little little flowers, little blades of grass, I guess. But if you have yin wood, you've got that you've got floral and you wear it well. So just know that yin wood has this nice, gentle energy of a flower, of the grass, the green grass, right? That's why I called it the garden snake, because of course this year yin wood is a garden of grass, of shrubs, of herbs. Some of you know that I'm also a budding herbalist. Um, and I sort of think too that this year, like anything to do with herbs would be a great thing to be doing. I'm really, really busy with my herbal practice, and I think yin wood is herbs, and it nourishes fire. It doesn't nourish everyone, so I also have some interesting things to say about looking at astrological charts and whether or not herbs are helpful for people or not. Do they need wood? Maybe not, right? Not every chart needs more of an element. So the qualities of yin wood: gentleness, thankfully, because there wasn't a whole lot of gentleness, I don't think, in 2024. The dragon can be assertive, powerful, domineering. The snake, the wood snake, much more gentle, much more flexible, peaceful, adaptable. Okay, yin wood is a very different type of chi than the big, strong force of a tree trunk and a strong tree that can't be uprooted. One of the things about wood too is it slowly proliferates. So if you leave it, it starts to grow in all kinds of different directions, and it takes over and becomes very strong. It's like a weed. So yin wood has that kind of quality of consistency through time. So perseverance is another really good quality to use in a yin wood year. And I talk about these qualities because yin wood is not just a flower, it's a phase of energy. So understanding the phase of the year helps you to work with it and to kind of be like yin wood in the year that it's active, right? An inflexible attitude will be problematic in the first 6 months of this year. If you can't adapt, or you can't be patient, or you can't work at something slowly and steadily and persevere in it, if you're not kind, you'll be working against the energy of the year. If you want to be unkind, pick a middle year. Go pick the year 2021. You can be as mean as you want in 2021 and get away with it. You can even say mean things. You can attack people outright and get away with it. If you do that in a yin wood year, curse yourself, because yin wood isn't like that. They're gentle, nurturing, kind. I like yin wood because I'm yin fire, so I find them quite nourishing. Anytime I find yin wood, I find that gentleness very, very healing. Healers, if you have yin wood in your heavenly stems, you have potential to help people heal. Yin wood has that quality to it, just like herbs heal, plants nourish. They're artistic, usually. Flower, the artist. I think this year, it would be really great to get into those Japanese, like wood carvings, or like Japanese flower arranging. Be a nice thing to do. And I think any wood snake would be good at it. So a little bit about the snake. The snake is the philosopher. I'm a snake. My friend John is here, who's a snake. I've got a couple other really good snake friends that are 12 years my junior, the earth snake. So every 12 years, the element changes. So 65 would have been wood snake, and then 77 is fire snake, and then 89 is earth snake. So every 12 years, the element of the animal sign changes, right? So we won't see the wood dragon again for 60 years. Thank God for that. Sorry. Anybody have a good year in the year of the wood dragon? Who had a good year? Come on. Anyone? Anyone? Put it in the chat. Who had the best year of their life
It
of the
was
wood dragon year?
intense. Not the best year of my life.
No. No, it wasn't the best year. Hi. Hi, Chloe. No, it wasn't a very easy year to survive. It was a pretty tough one. The wood dragon is a formidable, neurotic, forest-dwelling dragon. And yeah, anyways, I have wood dragon in my chart. Okay. Still, it was good for money. If you're a metal, if you have a metal daymaster, you have yang metal or yin metal, the wood dragon would have brought you cash for sure. Money matters, or oh yeah, the snake would have probably had a pretty good year. Yeah, but it was okay. I had an okay year too. And like I say, like it's a good year for somebody for sure, and it's going to be a bad year for somebody. It's not like a year comes along and you're like, oh, that's a bad year for everyone, unless it's like Metalox. Metalox is an amazing year either. You did, and a metal ox, Natalie. You birthed a wood dragon and a metal ox, which will be interesting to see how do they get along. Getting into watching your children interact. It's probably better that I'm not a mother, because I probably would have been so hard on my child, being like, no, that's not the right day for that. To laugh about that. Okay. All right, I want to talk a little bit about the compatibilities with the snake, because if you are compatible with the snake year, that's a good thing. Okay, so the snake's best friend is the monkey. If you have monkey anywhere in your chart, you have a best friend harmony with the year. And if it's in the first house, it's generally good. If you're born the year of the monkey, which is 1990, 90, 91. If you have it in the month, yeah, so I got that right. I was like, if you've got monkey in the month, if you're a Leo, generally speaking, right, you have to check your Chinese chart because it's not exactly on the same trajectory as the Western zodiac. So if you have monkey in your career house, it's the best friend with your career, your family, your home, a good year for your health, perhaps. If you have monkey in the day, great year for marriage, great year for harmony in your relationship. If you have monkey in the hour, it's a great year for you with your children, okay? So depending on where the monkey is, that will be where the snake pairs and where the energy is going. So the snake and the monkey combine to make water. Okay, so this is really important. So generally we can say, okay, if you have monkey in your chart and the snake year comes along, it's going to be good. But only if you like water, only if water is good for your chart. Okay, and this is where reading astrological charts gets tricky. And you want to understand what kind of elemental pooling is happening in your chart. And if there's any combinations, if there's triple harmonies, and there's all these kinds of dynamics that come into play. Generally speaking, good year for the monkey, if you've got it. The other ones that are really important to the snake are the horse and the sheep. So the snake in the bagua, which is the wheel or the compass that we work with in Chinese astrology, it awkwardly puts the south at the top, which is fire, and the rat at the bottom, which is north. And like all our maps have the north on top, and it's just so funny. But anyways, it has the south on the top. And the snake is just slightly to the southeast, followed by the dragon. So we're almost at the top. So as we go kind of around with the horse 2026 is going to be direct south. And we're just the year before. So we're in 2025, which is the year of the snake, which is the southeast direction. Okay, and dragon is actually southeast 1. And then prior to that was the rabbit, which is direct east. Okay, so we go from east, dragon, snake, horse, and then we go from horse, sheep, monkey, and rooster. And the rooster, horse, rabbit, rat are our cardinals or pure elemental directions: north, south, east, west. So when we're on a pure line, like the north, south, east, west axis in a year, like the year of the horse, you get a pure fire year. There's less earth energy. Okay. This year, because it's a snake year and we're kind of in the southeast, we have some earth in the year, which is good. Very helpful if you're yin wood. Yin wood actually has the most opportunities to earn money because wood's money element is earth. I know. I'm jealous of yin wood a little bit because I'm like, how come they get more chances to earn? But they also have more chances to work harder, like have more shouldering the load a little. So you have to kind of not envy whatever element. We all get our own problems. But yin wood has the most opportunities to earn money because earth is the most prevalent element. Always. There's lots of earth, usually. If you don't like earth or your chart doesn't need more earth, I'm sorry. It's hard. It makes things very heavy and slow moving, difficult to get through. So what I was saying about the snake, coming back to it, is it's compatible with its neighbors on either side. Okay, so but it likes fire because the snake is suddenly moving toward fire, so it likes the horse and the sheep because they make what's called a summer season. Okay, so the other really lucky animals are going to be sheep and horse this year because they combine with the snake to make fire. And usually to make a seasonal combination, you need to have the sheep and the horse in your chart. And then when the snake year comes along, you have a harmony of the fire season and your chart gets hot. And if you like it hot, cool. And if you don't, we strategize. We do what we can. We do what we can to remedy the space and to coach and to make good choices, right? And that's what I like to do as an astrologer. Over the years when I first started reading astrology charts, and probably some of you had a terrible reading from me 10 years ago. Sometimes I'm a little embarrassed about some of my readings because I was doing a lot of like predictive, like this means this, or this combination is good, or this combination is bad. And I think over the years, you kind of look at it a little differently as we wisen. We say, oh, well, what's a strategy that we can use when this type of situation comes? Like when there's a lot of output in the chart, for example. So fire was your output element. So if you're yin wood, fire exhausts you. So what's a strategy when there's a lot of fire, and you might be getting exhausted? The strategy would be to set boundaries, manage your energy, don't overexert yourself, cut back on your commitments. These kinds of things become important when we look at the chart to say, oh, we know that I have a full fire season coming up and I'm yin wood and I have a full fire season in my chart. I better take it easy and like lighten my load and maybe quit one of my 3 jobs like that. So that's kind of makes it useful. So snake and sheep and horse should have a more favorable year. I'd say if you're born in the year of the horse or the sheep, the snake should be generally pretty good for you. And the snake is part of what we call not just the fire season, but the intellectual trine. And this is the snake, the ox, and the rooster. If you have ox or rooster in your chart, you already have this partial, especially if you have 2, and if you have the snake, it completes it. And a triple harmony is always very strong. Some people have a triple harmony sitting right in their 4 pillars. So they've got the 3 intellectual pillars. Maybe they're born in the year of the snake, the month of the rooster, the day of the ox. And these people, highly intellectual, sometimes not even that practical, but very, very deep thinkers, right? So if you do have rooster or ox in your chart, those are compatible with the snake in an intellectual way. And so we like to talk about ideas. Like here you are tonight, you're on a call with the snake, talking about philosophy, talking about ideas, talking about abstract things. So the snake year is really favorable for philosophy. Snakes have this like reputation for being a bit lazy too. We're not lazy. We just need more sleep. We're not really lazy, right? John laughs. The truth is, snake needs more sleep than anybody else. And just know that. And if you have snake in your chart, just sleep more. It's fine. Your brain needs it. Your brain needs processing time to do all of that whatever it's doing. System reset. So the snake, is known to be maybe a little bit lazy and sometimes comes across, I love taps, I do too. And sometimes the snake can come across like sort of like they're not listening. They are listening, they're processing. So the snakes are really thinking deeply about a lot of different things and they're processing a lot of information. And the rooster and the ox understand what that's like, and so they have a compatibility this year. With the snake year. So good year for roosters and oxes. Some snakes are also known to be sensual or possessive, a little possessive. That's something else I know about snakes. I'm kind of an expert on snakes because I am a snake. And a little possessive maybe is the truth of the situation, but often accused of having a wandering eye or being sensual, but not always, right? The snake can be a very faithful, loyal creature. So those are the compatibility signs for the year. If you've got monkey, sheep, horse, rooster, or ox in your chart, in any pillar, look at your pillars and think to yourself, which pillar is this in? Is it in my career? Is it in my general pillar? Is it in myself, my spouse house, which is the day you're born on? Is it in my children or my output or my legacy? Right? And your legacy might not be your children. Maybe we don't have children. Maybe we have cats, right? The cats are not my legacy. The legacy, my fourth house, would be what I leave behind in the world, what people see, what I do in my late life. The fourth house is the hour of your birth. Now, if you have your four pillars chart and you're looking at it, I just want to go through a few stars because I like to do this for people who don't have time to do a full astrological consultation with me, or maybe you're just curious and maybe you just want a few little tips and tricks for the year. And so I wanted to talk about the existential void just briefly because it's such an interesting concept in spiritual terms. The existential void is the great empty, the great nothing, where nothing grows, nothing happens. It's just kind of like a spiritual concept. And I want to mention it because I think in the age of spirituality, in age 9, some of us are going to need to surrender to this sense of void, to this quality of being without doing or making anything or being productive or earning money. So spiritual void has this quality of doing without rushing, of being without trying, of just being in the nature of the Tao. Those of you that are a little bit on the Taoist side like me. So if you have any of these pillars that I'm going to read right now in your year or your day, okay, so look at your four pillars chart, the year you're born under, or the day that you're born under, then the snake is void. The whole year is void. It's nice to know when you have a void year because you just let go. You have to be like, oh, I'm going to try and do this, but I'm not going to be attached to doing it, right? Or you might have to change your plans at the last minute, or you think, oh, I'm going to do this thing, and then you get there and then it doesn't work out the way you thought. Excuse me. So the year and the day. Fisherman's Friend. The month prior to this month was the Fire Ox month. So today's a new moon, right? The Lunar New Year. And the last 4 weeks have been the month of the Fire Ox. And I happen to be a Fire Ox. And I have coughed for a whole month. And thankfully, I got up this morning and did some Qigong with an amazing instructor, and my cough has improved today. And I'd like to say that the Qigong did it, which I think it may have. But it also seems that today on the new moon with the Fire Ox month behind me, I seem to be feeling a lot better. So whenever your energy comes along, like say you're a wood snake and it's a wood snake year, I'm a Fire Ox and I just got through a month of the Fire Ox. It's not so good. It's not fun. It's an influence in Chinese astrology we call Fan Yin. And Fan Yin it's it's not very nice to you. It's not very nice. It puts the spotlight on you. It helps you work on yourself. It helps you transcend your issues. It helps you to peel away a layer of judgment about yourself. It's sort of like Judgment Day. And if you're nice to yourself and you're good to yourself and you know yourself well, then you can just enlighten and then everything doesn't bother you. It just kind of washes in front of you. But if you have like issues that have been unaddressed, or you haven't done any work on yourself, or you haven't had any healing, then I pity you on your 60th birthday because it will be hell on earth for you. Because Banyan can be really, really tough. We say the spotlight is on you and it gives you something to cry about. So the void. People who are in the void this year are in the month or the day, sorry, in the year or the day, the water rabbit, the water tiger, the metal ox, the metal rat, the earth pig, the earth dog, the fire rooster, the fire monkey, the wood sheep, and the wood horse. I'll repeat them because I know you're looking at your chart being like, am I any of these things? And we're only looking at the year or the month. And if you have this pillar in your year or your month, then the snake year for you is a big black hole of existential void. Do spiritual practices. Let go. Do less. Be free. Don't try and save money. Don't try and accomplish a goal in record time. Try and relax. Take it easy. Just be, okay? If in your year or day you have water rabbit, water tiger, metal ox, metal rat, earth pig, earth dog, fire rooster, fire monkey, wood sheep, or wood horse, then welcome to the void. It lasts a year. It can give you things that you never expected, but definitely takes things from you, but it spits out some blessings too. So just try and surrender to God or surrender to nature or surrender to the Tao if you have it. And I know some of you do. Yeah, 2024 was void for you, Anastasia. Not comfortable. No, it's not comfortable. Spirituality isn't comfortable. Okay. And the age of fire is not going to be comfortable. The next 20 years, watching buildings burn, watching people lose their homes, spiritual transformation is never comfortable or easy. In fact, people with the most spirituality have the hardest charts. They have the hardest lives. People who are truly spiritual have charts that are up, down, sideways, not this way. Okay. People who are not spiritual, who couldn't give a damn about spirituality, they don't go to church, they don't have a belief system, they don't think about it, they don't need to because their life makes sense. They have a really good trajectory, they have a balanced chart. Sometimes things go a little bit badly, but then they get back on track. So different types of charts have different types of personalities, and spiritual personalities do not have easy lives. And spiritual transformation from 2024 to 2044 is not going to be an easy time. Not easy, but it's good for parties. It's good for like celebrations and like happy events. So like I would say celebrate the next 20 years if you're in the industry of like parties, festivals, or events. Congratulations, you're in the right industry. If you're in the film industry, anything that you can see with your eyes, if you're a good performer and you look good on stage, great time for you, age 9. If you're a spiritual teacher, I think it's a pretty good thing to be into in age 9 as well. Philosophers. If you're beautiful, age 9 and Gua 9 is all about beauty. I haven't talked much about our Gua yet. I did talk a lot about Gua in my last talk, and I haven't really talked about the Guas yet, but the Gua of this coming year is Gua 2 coming up. I'm going to talk a little bit about the guas because I want to cover some of the good sectors in your home, because feng shui and astrology, or Batsa destiny analysis, is sort of analyzes a person, but we extend it into the home, and then the home is actually got its own chart, and then we place the person within the home, and we can kind of work with what's happening in both. I really do want to finish, though, before I get into some of those sort of place and home projections. I don't want to tell them to you, but I want to finish the stars for the year. So if you've got your chart in front of you, if your day master is yang wood or yang metal, okay, you have a scholar star this year. Don't miss your scholar star, you guys. Yang wood, yang metal, if that's your day master, the day you're born on is yang wood or yang metal. This year you should study, teach, write a course, create content, write it down, learn something new, dig deeper into something that you enjoy studying, go back to school. Okay, scholar stars are really, really helpful for getting smarter, getting better at what you're doing, teaching other people, working in educational institutions. I don't know that anyone on this call that I know is yang wood or yang metal. Oh, I think Drez, you're yang metal. Good scholar star for you. And it's about learning, right? It's about learning, growing, discovering new ideas, new things. Don't waste a scholar star. Scholar stars are so helpful. My favorite star, if you are a yin fire, or again, yang wood. Yang wood has kind of more stars this year affecting them. And, these, I think, Natalie will have to help me, because some of these correspond to the planets, and there's another whole, I'm not even going to go there because it's too difficult. But the yin fire and the yang wood have the good food star this year. And what's a good food star? Call it the good food star. The good food star is like eating really good food, going out for dinner, taking it easy, having less work on your plate, having a nicer lifestyle. It's a lifestyle star. It's like going to work and only working 3 days a week and having a good year, putting your feet up. Nothing better than a nice void year with a good food star. You just go on vacation, If your chart has a whole bunch of good food stars in it and like a bunch of voids, you have a carefree life. I've only ever met two. I've met two people in all my years of reading charts that have 3 void stars, 3 or more void stars, and a good food star, and they have no problems. They just do whatever they want all the time, and it always works out for them. It's terrible. I call it a carefree life. It's like a very special type of chart. And they just relax and everything goes okay. And they're totally stress-free, and they're usually really, really nice and like very, very good looking. And they just saunter around through life and have a good time. They're out there. I've only ever met 2. Usually if people have a carefree life, they don't need me to consult with them. Like they're out there like having a good time. They're not like calling me and being like, what is going to happen to me this year? Who has the good food star? Yin fire. If you're born on a yin fire day, which Serena, I think you are, right? Are you yin fire? Yes, I think so. You're a yin fire rooster, right? So you also have the void. Oh, you've got the good food star and the void, you stinker. Enjoy that. Just try not to get too attached to the plan. You still have to make a plan because it's a snake year. You better have a plan. Snakes always have a plan. They're strategic. So you better have a plan, just not be attached to doing the plan. Oh, it makes me laugh. Yeah. Yin fire, good food stars. And also working with food. If you have a good food star, get into foods. Look at your diet, change your diet, get interested in what there is to eat. I always like people who have lots of good food stars in their chart. They can make meals for me. Cook for me. I want them to have me over. Okay, moving on. Sorry. Don't want to dwell on the good food star, but it is my favorite star. The guide stars. Guide stars are like clarity stars. They're like, I understand what I need to do and I'm doing it. They are, I see clearly, or people give me good advice. They're very helpful and they actually exist in our bagua as well. So in our homes, one of the best things you can do in your feng shui is activate your nobleman star, which I can give you on an individual basis if we do a chart reading. But activating your nobleman star brings helpful people to your life. I studied with Joey Yap in Malaysia a few years ago. I did his mastery program. And he really taught us about the nobleman star. It was one of his primary things that he always referred to. He said, where's your nobleman? How is your nobleman being activated? Use your nobleman, use your nobleman. And so some people will have a nobleman in their chart. Some people don't have it, right? And never really get that much help in life. Some people kind of always get good advice and can count on their financial advisor to make them more money, and they have good nobleman stars usually. So if you are yang water or yin water in your day master, that's the element of the day you're born on, yang water or yin water, snake is your nobleman. And that means that anyone who's born in the year of the snake or under the sign of Taurus or has snake in their chart is helpful to you. It doesn't mean you like them necessarily. Like I counsel a lot of yin water and yang water day masters, and they should listen to me. They don't always, but they should because I'm guiding them, right? So you don't always like your nobleman, but it's often a good point of clarity. It gives you clarity. It gives you the truth. The thing about the snake is the snake doesn't like lies. Good snakes, proper snakes are committed to the truth, right? We don't lie. We figured out early on that being deceptive or not telling the truth got us into trouble. Okay, so snakes have this destiny to understand truth versus deception. Yin water in the day, yang water in the day only, not in the year so much. So, your nobleman stars are helpful people coming to give you advice, but they're also clarity of mind. So, yin water and yang water in the year of the pig, which is the opposite of the snake, you'll be more confused. Okay, so just know that your noblemen also can be hidden from you, eclipsed from you, cause confusion, but they mostly, if they're present, will give you good advice. So yin water and yang water, seek advice. If you're wanting to buy a house, this is the year that you'll find a good realtor. If you're, trying to get through a school program, this is the year you'll have a good tutor. Those kinds of things come with the guide star. If you don't have a guide star, you might have one in your chart. You definitely have one in your bagua, in your home. But using your guide star is really powerful metaphysics. Okay, and lastly, oh no, I have two more. Travel stars. I want to say the snake is a natural traveler. So the snake, the monkey, the tiger, and the snake, monkey, tiger, and pig are all travel stars. So if you have them in your chart, you maybe are more likely to travel than other signs. But it's a particularly strong travel star. The snake is a strong travel star for anyone who has rabbit, sheep, or pig in the year or the day. That's you, Sherry. You've got sheep in the year. So you have a mobility star in the snake year. It means travel. Plan some trips, go places. Sometimes you have to commute. Sometimes you end up commuting in a travel star. You drive to work in a different city and then you drive back. It's such a waste of a travel star. I always tell people in a travel star, don't waste it commuting. That's lame. Go travel, go see something, go see the world. Move. Great year to move. If you want to move in one of your travel star years. Okay, last two things I'm going to tell you. A metaphysical star, which is also a medical star, yang water and yin water. That one can be a little tricky. It can sometimes bring medical problems or need for medical care. And then the social standing star, if you're yin metal or yin water, So yin water's got a lot. So yin water's got a social standing star, which is like improving your status, a medical star, a guide star. Yeah, quite a few. More active year for those born with yin water day master. And I mean, if you think about it, if you're yin water, yin wood is your output energy, right? It's the same gender, so it's also a good food star. There's layers to it. I won't go too much more into that because I think I gave you guys your stars. And I want to talk a little bit about our space and place. Because as the year changes, when we come into Lunar New Year, the stars fly. Okay, so flying star feng shui is based on this understanding of the Lo Shu grid. It's a 9-sector grid, which you might have seen if you looked into feng shui or learned a little bit about it. So there's 9 sectors. So from a bird's eye view, if you look down at your house and you could divide it up into 9 sectors, you would have all the directions. You'd have north, south, east, west, northwest, southwest, northeast, northwest. So those are the 8 that are around the outside. And then there's a center sector. Okay, so the gua of the year is a 2 gua, and it's always locked in the center. Okay, so the 2 gua this year is in the center house and it's locked. But the rest of the sectors are all open and have gua in them. Now, because it's age 9, the 9 star is the best sector of the year. Okay, and we say that the 9 is timely. The 1 is future timely because it's the future gua, it's the next one after this one. And the 2 gua, which is after the 1, is future timely. So that's timely, 9, future timely, and long-term timely. Okay, so the 9, the 1, and the 2 are the guas that we like. And so if you are a gua 9, a gua 1, or a gua 2, you're timely. Things will be a little easier or generally a bit better for you. We just came out of age 8 this last year in 2024. And so a lot of what I saw is the gua 8s. I saw a lot of gua 8 clients, so many, disappointed with something that had changed for them in 2024. As we moved into gua 9, the 8 became untimely. The 8 is the gua of success and wealth accumulation. So they have destinies usually and working very hard and achieving success through hard work and a shit ton of effort. And because age 8 is now untimely, we're seeing the age of industrialization decline. Okay, people are not making as much money as they were. Business is kind of on a downturn. Some businesses anyways, the mom and pop shops. So making money is kind of like untimely, or achieving success and wealth is kind of now untimely. We're moving into age 9, which is more about popularity, spirituality, beauty, demonstration, the eyes, what you can see. And so when that happens, we start to have to let go of some of our design in our society around wealth and wealth structures. There usually is a little bit of a shifting in who's doing well and why. I mean, I think it's so fascinating that we've seen Instagram and online media things and just go really, really popular. Some people just thousands of followers are making tons of money overnight. My stepbrother, his handle, if you want to look him up, Veritasium, he's got 17 million followers. He's done very well in age 8. And he sold his business, or he sold his handle. And I really think it was interesting because when he sold his handle, he did it right on the change of the age, made a ton of money, and boom, now he's still making videos and doing very well, but he anyway, some people just know. So the 9 gua in 2025 is in the East sector. So the stars fly into a different sector every year. And so we like the 9 gua because it's timely. And this year, it's timely in the East. And it stays in the East sector all year long. So if you could be in one place all year in your home, it would be in the east of your home. Right now I'm sitting in my east bedroom in the east center sector of my house. Guys, we don't want to obsess over it too much because then every year you have to move your furniture and like redesign everything. But it just so happens that I am in the east sector of my house, facing east, sitting at my desk in the center of this wall, which puts me in the east. If you can use the 9 Gua this year, do it. You can activate it by lighting a candle, or putting, my favorite is to put a vase of water with fresh flowers in it. Activate the 9 Gua and you'll see an increase in your spirituality, your popularity, in happy events. If your yard faces east, is it a good time to alter the yard? Yeah, it's a great time. Totally. Make it better, improve it, disturb it. Anytime we activate something, actually, Joey Yap used to just say, just slam the door, open and close the window, make a noise, rattle a bell. If you have a door in the east sector of your house, good, great. You don't have to do anything, because if you're coming and going through the east sector, you're already activating the 9, and it'll be a lucky year for you. Good. Use the east. It's present timely. So when we activate the present timely star in the east, we're doing something for ourselves today. We're making our life better now. We're activating the 9. Future timely is in the southeast, which is the 1, which you have to be a bit careful with this year, because it also, that's where the Grand Duke is sitting, because that's also the direction of the snake. So it just so happens that the snake, remember when I talked about my grid here, we went from rabbit, dragon, snake, and horse. So the snake is in the southeast sector, but right on the edge of it. It's almost south. It's in what we call Southeast 3, because there's 24 mountains in the Bagua compass. So the southeast sector is between, and you might want to write this down. Jasmine, write this down if you're here. When I did this talk last year, Jasmine said to me, she goes, I said the directions for the Grand Duke for the year, and she said, that's the direction my house faces. And I was like, oh no. It's like such a bad thing to face your house in the direction of the Grand Duke. And most people, it will be in one of the cardinal years, because here in Canada, most of our houses are built facing the north-south grid or the east-west grid. Like there's very few that are on these strange directional angles, which I always like to look for, because if you can find one that's on the exact right angle for your Gua, it's very lucky if you can find a house that's sitting on a particular axis. So ask me more about that if you want to know about that. It's really interesting. The Southeast 3 is from 142.6 degrees to 157.5 degrees. So you take your iPhone, if you have an iPhone, usually there's a compass app on most phones, and you open your compass, and then you turn it so that you're at 142.6, or you're between 142.6 and 157.5. So maybe let's just use 150. Okay, and square it up. That's the direction of the Grand Duke. And ideally, you want to be in the center of your home when you do this. But you can kind of just get this idea, of approximately where it is, right? I kind of know the direction. And if you had a floor plan, you would find the center on your floor plan and then do your measurement. But in general, it's Southeast 3, okay? And the Grand Duke sits there. We don't want to face the Grand Duke. We don't want to offend the Grand Duke by looking him in the eye. We don't want to dig holes in the Grand Duke sector if we can help it, usually outside. We want to keep the Grand Duke calm and quiet. Try not to build fires or have big explosions. The thing is, though, is that the Grand Duke has the 1 Gua this year, so it's very mixed, right? It's a good sector, but maybe not to face it. So you can use the Southeast sector this year, but you'd want to be careful if you start to suffer mental illness or depression, or challenges. I'm going to say that it's the second best sector of the year is the Southeast. Use with caution. So those are the two sectors, I'd say east and southeast, where you want to spend your time. There's other ones as well that are based on your personal. There are different compass points than last year. Yes, the Grand Duke moves. So it moves around the compass. So it goes from dragon and then slowly through the dragon year, it moves into snake. And then where we're really going to see some changes is when we get into the fire horse, which is south. The Grand Duke's in the south. There's a lot of people who sit facing south and have houses that are sitting facing south. And they'll be facing the Grand Duke and the wrath. The Chinese call it the wrath of the Grand Duke. 2026, the wrath of the Grand Duke if your house faces south. Not to scare anyone. It's not like you're going to break your leg or anything. It just means you get kind of a plague of boils or, you know, I don't even know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and find out. The age of fire, the utmost fire. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so the worst sector of the year, and this is one to be avoided, is the Northeast. The Northeast has the 5 Gua. The 5 Gua can be sickness, disaster, disruption of stability. Joe Yap liked to use it because he liked the 5 Gua because he has an emperor energy, and he liked to use it to destroy things because when we destroy things, something is always created. And so he was building an empire. And so he used the 5 Gua to stir up a whole bunch of things, to make himself popular, to make himself famous. The 5 Gua ruins stability. And it's in the Northeast. So if your office is in the Northeast sector of your house, and you can figure out where the Northeast is by looking at your compass. The Northeast bedroom, if you're sleeping in it, you're more likely to be sick this year, sleeping in the 5. And you definitely do not want to be there during the metal snake month because there's a 5-2 combination, which is it's a death door. It's like a don't be in the Northeast in May. Because there's a chance of big accidents, sometimes death or sudden loss. But I mean, if your bedroom's in the Northeast of your house and that's what it is, then something is going to happen there. But if it were me, I would sleep in a different part of the house in May. If you're sleeping in the Northeast bedroom all year, try to go away in May, go to Bali or something, or stay at a friend's place or sleep in the living room for that month. I know it sounds superstitious, but when you've seen it happen, when you've seen someone, die in that in a sector where the 5-2 star is, or like I've been watching these things for years and years, and yeah, they're just one of those things that once you start to realize that they have an impact, that you kind of watch for them. So it's just May. May has a particularly bad star in the Northeast sector. What is a good direction for this year? Well, any good direction would be when you put your back to the Grand Duke. So if you sat with your back to the southeast and you face northwest, that would be good. But every person has their own good directions and their own bad directions based on their Gua. And I've done that in other talks. I don't think I have time to do it tonight. But depending on what your Gua is, you will have 4 favorable directions and 4 unfavorable directions. And so if you're living in a house that's facing one of your good directions, it's generally good. If you're married to a person and it's not their favorable direction, well, what are you going to do? You're going to have to still live there. So you can kind of rearrange the house to maybe sleep your bed in one of their good directions, even if the house isn't in their direction. So there's ways to work with your good directions and your unfavorable directions. And some of them are helpful for concentration. Others are helpful for healing. Like ever since I had this cough, I've been sleeping with my head in the direction for healing. Not that it made any difference at all. It's just like I did try. Some of them are better for wealth and success, which is great if you're trying to orient your desk. You want to orient your desk toward your Sheng Qi direction, which is the direction for wealth. And then usually we look at that, we look at the building, and I'm happy to do those kinds of consults. They're some of my favorite consults to do. So I've given you all your stars. I've given you the best sectors for the year. I've talked a little bit about the Grand Duke sitting in the southeast. I talked about Yin Wood for the next 6 months and then 2.5 years of fire. So if 2024 wasn't that great and wood isn't your best element, hang in there, because in June we move into fire for 2.5 years. So the stem is yin wood, but the snake is fire. So we move halfway through the year, we move from the stem into the branch and we start fire, and then we have fire horse, fire sheep, 2.5 years of fire ahead. So we're building, growing, upward moving wood, starting to burn up. The mechanism ignites. The fire starts in June, and it will be a raging fire, I think. So it might be a very hot summer. Okay, any questions? I missed some of the stuff from the chat. Good food star, and my kitchen is in the east, so I guess I'll be cooking. Great to have to spend lots of time in the east sector and entertain. If your kitchen is in the east, have company in there. Bring people over. Kitchen party. And yes, the compass points changed from last year. So that's a good thing for Jasmine, because Jasmine was facing the Grand Duke all year, and ask her how her year went. So you're out of it now, Jasmine, where we've moved. Where are the other guas in each sector? Yeah. So the 6th gua is in the south. Also good. 6 is good for authority and power. So if you want to be in charge at work, pick the office in the south or sit in the south. The south is a decent sector. The 6th gua is associated with military arts or authority. So it has kind of like it's a bit of a bossy sector, but it's still a good sector unless you have afflictions of the lung. I'm sleeping in the 6th and not very happy with this cough. What is this year for Yin Earth? Travel. Yeah, Yin Earth has a bunch of different things coming up for it. So Yin Earth probably, well, not so much. Like, you had a travel star, I think, didn't you? And what else did I have? Things. Earth Sheep is an intellectual pillar. It has a power star. I didn't talk about power stars. Power stars are working with emotion. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Ying. Bye. Yeah, and I'll share my booking link. If you really do find that you like this stuff and you're interested, book a consult, because I find that each individual is unique. And when we look at a unique person's chart, certain interactions, certain things are going to be important about the year. And that's what chart reading is you look at the pooled energy and you say, okay, you have a full water harmony this year. What does that mean for you? Does your chart need more water? Is it good for you? Are you a water self with a lot of water? That's going to be, a social year. If water and you're a fire, it's going to be a year of limits and obstacles. If you're a 4 gua, Sami sleeping in the west 4 sector. That's good. That's fine. I mean, it doesn't really work like that exactly, because the west is actually the sector of the 7. So if the 4 star is there this year, but it moves on. Oh, Lynn, right. So the 4 gua in the west sector is temporary. It's just for the year. 4s are usually good for romantic connections. They're good for romance. They're good for learning and literary arts. They're great for study if you're going to school. Use the west sector this year if you're sleeping in the west. The northwest sector has the 3, and I'll just do them quickly because Kate asked me here. The northwest sector has the 3 gua, which can be aggressive. It's good for sports and athletics, but it can bring sometimes arguments and disputes, and sometimes even like legal problems if it's not used correctly, or if it's negatively enforced by things around the home that are bad. So if you have your garbage sitting in the northwest and it's open and stinky, lawsuits, arguments, and bitter disputes. So the northwest isn't so favorable. I don't use the 3 unless I want to do bodybuilding or work out or something like that. Thank you. Thank you. You guys saying thank you. The 7 in the north. 7 stars are okay. They can bring sexual things like fertility. The 7 has like a kind of like a creativity star on it. And it also has kind of it can bring robbery. 7s are generally unfavorable. So if you're sleeping in the 7, you just want to be careful of scams, things like that. Careful of email scams and stuff like that. I don't always find the 7 is terribly threatening, but it's not terribly positive. It's also associated with reproductive health. So sometimes if you're sleeping in the 7, you could have issues with your reproductive situation like STDs, things like that. The 7's not as favorable. Still, it's good for some things like fertility. Sex is good. The 8 is hard work. If you're sleeping in the southwest, get ready to roll up your sleeves and put in more hours. Still, you'd make money doing that, right? Anytime you need money, use the 8. Activate the southwest. That's where the 8 star is this year, and I think I did them all. Did you guys get them all? One of the best sectors this year, one of the best times in this year is the month of February. The east sector has the double 9. It's really good. Use the east sector in February. It's February now, isn't it? And interesting, the metaphysics of all these things correspond with your chart. You know, if it's really difficult for you to use the east sector this year, you know, it might not be the year for parties and popularity. It might be the year for introversion or other things or study, right? So you might look at where you are, where you're sleeping, where you're spending your time and say, hey, like maybe this year is better for other things, you know? Does anybody have any questions? I'll take specific questions about charts too, if you have anything that you're kind of confused about. I'm always curious as to how these talks come across because they tend to kind of go in many directions and there's a lot in it. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, thanks. I'm feeling better just today, Jasmine. So funny. Right as the year turns, I'm like, oh, I'm getting over it. I think it was the Qigong. I did a great Qigong class today and I think it helped a lot.
Sue, it's Chloe.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I just have a question about, you said monkey and yang wood. Sorry, you said monkey in the hour. You were talking about that early on. Oh no,
Yeah.
talking about monkey in the chart, in the pillars. And you talked about monkey being good for children, but if I don't have children, what does that mean? Is there another interpretation?
So what's your day master?
Rooster, yin
No,
wood.
your element. Ian Wood?
Yeah,
Ian Wood. Oh, is it? Okay. And you've got monkey in the hour, have you?
I do.
So when you have monkey in the hour in a snake year, the monkey snake combine to make water. And so that water nourishes your wood. So if you have water coming from the 4th house, that's helpful support from people you employ. So it might mean that you need more support this year. It could be that you hire counselors or you hire more help in the home or you hire people to help you, but it makes the people who work for you more helpful to you. Or
Awesome.
it can also mean that your pet is very nourishing. So if you have a dog or a cat and this year you might get a lot of joy out of your pet or your animal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it brings joy, support, and nourishment from the 4th house, which is your clients, the people you hire, the people who work for you. It's also, you know, like sometimes your workplace, depends what you do for work. But it can mean that there's a lot of learning happening too, because anytime there's a water flow from your 4th house, that means you may be learning from your clients or learning from your students if you were a teacher. It would mean your students are maybe teaching you something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm researching, so that's how.
Right.
Yeah.
You're researching, right. So exactly. So when you see that in the 4th house, it would be maybe ask the people around you to help you or get help with your research project. Get other people working for you. They'll help you accumulate more information, more data, put a team together.
Love it. Okay, thank you. That's great.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good question. Anybody else keen to ask anything?
I have a question.
Yeah, go, Melanie.
I know Snake eats rats, and I have 2 rats in my chart, and just wondering what it means for rats.
So my partner's a rat and I'm a snake. The rat is going to have a great year. The rat is actually has a secret harmony this year. It's going to be an excellent year. If you have 2 rats in your chart, and in both of those houses, you'll thrive. The rat had a rough year in the dragon year, not the easiest year. So I'd say the
True.
rat is very lucky this year.
I also have 2 metal in my chart. I have no fire, just 2 metal.
No fire.
No.
Yeah, and so whenever you have a lot of water and you're a metal self, water rusts metal. We don't like having metal with a lot of water around it. It drains it. It makes it rusted. So, that's a problem. But the wood helps because the wood absorbs some of the water, takes some of the water away, and lightens up
Yeah.
that heaviness of the water. So, we don't like metal to be too wet. It's not that great. So yeah,
Okay.
sometimes fire
I
can
booked a
help.
session with you, by the way.
Yeah, you should. I would love to look at it because I know you from my course, and I would love to take a look at it with you. But overall,
you.
the rat and the snake, don't worry, the snake doesn't eat the rat. That's a total myth. That's a total myth. They have a good compatibility. I'm partnered with a rat, and he's great. We've had a great
Thank you.
relationship, and I haven't eaten him yet. Okay, weird question, Kate. Vancouver homes are long and skinny, facing north-south. Totally. How do you work with sectors in a long, skinny house or room? Well, you make a long, skinny box, and then you kind of divide it into long, skinny squares. The worst shape is the L shape house because you can't really make it a square out of an L-shaped house unless you kind of fill it in, and then you've got a missing sector. And missing sectors are another whole concept in feng shui that I want to write a little bit more about in my book, because if you're missing a sector, then whatever star flies into that sector that year, you can't have it. You don't get it. So if the 8 stars in a missing sector in your house, there's no work for you that year. You're unemployed, right? So missing sectors are problematic. Protruding sectors are less problematic, but they also happen where you just have like a front entranceway that sticks out in one part of your house. And so one year the 9 gua will flow in there, and then another year the 7 gua flows in there. And then each time that flows in there, you have extra. So in the year that the 7 flows in there, you have more scams, more people trying to rob you, more problems with your reproductive system or whatever, right? Depending on other things, depending on how your chart looks, they all kind of metaphysically match, which is really interesting. But yeah, long, skinny, low shoes kind of go like that. But the thing to remember too is that you can have a low shoe on the whole house. You can have a low shoe just on one bedroom. You can have a low shoe just on your desk and kind of figure out where's the east sector of your desk. Like there's lots of like layers to the Tao. So like you can have we call it a little tiny Tai Chi, or you can have a really, really big Tai Chi and look at a whole city and say, hey, like what's happening this year in the east part of Vancouver? Is it a better place to live this year? Maybe. Why? I don't know. Seja, you read the time wrong. Oh, how does yin fire do? How does yin fire do in a wood year? Depends if you need the wood. The yin wood can sometimes, in a weak chart, cause grief and pain and losses. But it depends on how it's approached. Yin wood for yin fire can sometimes also make you sulky. Grief, but entitlement can also bring joy and happiness and celebration. So it's tricky. Zarifa, so curious, if I had to focus on career or partner, which would be the best use of energy this year? Are you a monkey, Zarifa? I have to remember.
No, I'm a
Where's
snake,
my-
fire snake.
Oh, you're right. That's right. Of course you are a fire snake. Well, because you have a general combination, what's your day master again? Earth?
Metal.
Oh, you're a metal. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. So the combination is water. So, mm, well, I would say career. I would say creativity and career because you have an output star. I'd say focus on your children because water is metal's output. So for a woman, that's fertility and productivity. I'd say it'd be more useful to focus on your partner when the fire comes 6 months through the year. So if you're trying to attract a partner, you want fire because fire rules metal. So that would be the second half. Well, pretty much after June for 2.5 years, focus on relationship. It'll be much easier to attract someone. You'll have better choices. The fire is what you want to focus on relationship, and the water. Ugh, get the work done. And plus, metal chops wood, make some money the first half of this year. Focus on work.
Nice. Thank you,
I'm
Sue.
nervous about the Northeast. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm nervous about the Northeast. Yeah, me too, Heather. Both our bedroom and my parents are in that sector. If we can't move rooms, should we travel for May? Yeah. Ah, both of you guys, oh, you guys are all sleeping in that sector? You can't travel, sell the house, move. Something big will happen because you're all sleeping in that sector. Both your bedroom and your parents' bedroom are in that sector. Something will happen. Maybe a big change might come that month for you guys, for all of you. I'm not sure what it would be, but yeah, it might change a lot. Um, that's interesting. It won't be peaceful, Heather. Like if you're sleeping in the five, things will change. They do that. And sometimes it can bring sickness. So, in sickness, it doesn't just affect one person. So it's like, say your mother's sick, it affects everybody in the household if your mother gets sick. I hope not, but yes, May will be important. Anybody else got specifics? Can do this for as long as you need me to.
Hi,
Yeah, that's interesting. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Andrea, good to see you here. Yeah, I'm well.
Oh, thank you for this. I love doing these every year.
Yeah, me too. It's fun. It's fun for me because I'm such a nerd about it. I'm such a dork.
I know. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
I have my day is a Yinwood snake, and
Oh,
my year is a Yang water dog.
mm.
I got a job offer today. So
Oh. So, you have Fan Yin in the third house, in the south house. It's generally not that great.
yeah.
It puts a lot of focus on you and who you are. But it can be a challenging year for the wood snake if you have it in the day master, especially in relationship, right? Because that's your house of relationship.
Yeah.
So it might mean that it's hard for you to stay in a relationship or that you're separated from your relationship partner or that you have a lot of work to do on yourself in the area of interpersonal romantic relationships. I think you have
Yeah.
rooster. I think you have rooster as well, don't you?
My
Rooster in the
rooster
year?
is my month, and then my
Oh, right.
hours of pig.
And you've got water dog sitting in there too. I think the second half of the year will be pretty busy for you.
Yeah.
First half, be of service. Try to lay low whenever you have a competing yin wood and yin wood. They strangle. They try to suffocate each other. So it's highly competitive and not always that friendly. So try and yeah, you won't be
I'm
able to
about to.
avoid conflict.
Okay. Well,
You're
I'm
about
about
to
to go
what?
traveling. I'm going traveling for work. So
Traveling.
yeah.
I think traveling is helpful in times of tumult. Sometimes it's
Okay.
better to be on the road because then you're actually exposed to kind of a lot of different things. So I think traveling is a bit of a solution in a Fan Yin time. Tough year for you though. Andrea. It won't be an
That's
easy
okay.
year. Yeah.
It
Mhm.
hasn't been. So it's normal
No.
right now.
No. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. What about water dragons? Does water drench the wood? Wood drains the water. Works the other way. Wood drains the water, so work hard. The water will have to work hard. And creativity, Blair. Like, I tell you this again. Wood is creativity and creative expression. Express yourself. I'm sorry, I know Blair, and I just think he's got to do creative things. My year's water rat. I think that Lucy St. John, if I'm not mistaken, you have Fire Horse in the 3rd house, don't you?
Yes,
So
Yang
enjoy.
Fire Horse.
So the wood is good for education this year. The Fire Horse year will be tricky. 2026 will be hard. So enjoy 2025.
Okay, noted.
2026, you have to do more work on yourself. I think 2025 will be pretty smooth. I think the snake likes you, the water rat. You'll have a good year in 2025. Did you
Awesome.
say that the year with the yin fire goat is good with wood snake? Yes, I did, Wendy. Yes, I did. Good year for the goat. Can you elaborate on the intellectual trine of the rooster, ox, and the snake? They're a metal harmony. So metal is the intellect. It's deep thinking. Whenever we have the rooster, the ox, and the snake in the same room, there's going to be conversations about ideas, philosophies. Astara, double fire tiger. The tiger and the snake have a harm. I didn't talk about this, but the snake harms the tiger, but also heals it. So the snake tiger have a special relationship, especially in the month of the monkey, which is the month of Leo, which will be September, end of August. So the tiger, particularly the double tiger in the snake year, needs to heal, but may also be hurt by the year, sometimes trauma. I didn't talk about this too much, but the healing harm combination of the tiger and the snake requires gratitude. So there's a lot of ingratitude in the dynamics. That's really important to find gratitude for everything that you receive throughout the year, or appreciation for the snake year. Feeling unappreciated, probably, Astara, might be what you feel most. Feeling unappreciated is the problem with the tiger and the snake, a lack of appreciation. So gratitude helps, but also healing. It's healing trauma. If you're a double tiger, then the snake year, heal your trauma. It's a year for healing. The middle goat in the month, Serena, is good in the year of the snake. Good for your career. Good for your career. Get going. What about, oh yeah, yin metal goat in the month. You've got some other really good stars on that month pillar too, Serena, for your career. So I think this year you'll probably see them actualize, unless you have the void. So make a plan and start moving towards it, but keep your plan flexible. The yin wood will demand that you change along the course of the way. Yeah, thanks for coming, you guys. Thanks, Jasmine, for joining me. Those of you that are new to this work, I do it every year. I really enjoy astrology. I'm quite a nerd about it. And so if you have questions or you want specifics, hi, Jen. Hi, Rowan. Hi, guys. It's so nice to see my friends on this call. I feel like I haven't seen many of you in a long time. I've also got a retreat coming up in May. I don't have the dates set yet, but if you want to come to Galiano Island and retreat with me and do some yoga and some art. I also have a Thai massage retreat in April. If you want to join me for that, that's always great.
Yeah,
And
there
There we got to unmute.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi,
Sue.
hi guys.
The kids came in here. But I was, do you have time for a quick question?
Of course, yes, I
Okay.
do.
I missed the beginning, and
Mm.
so I was wondering about if you talked about the Metal Monkey year, because I've year of Metal Monkey in the year and then Ox, and I'm Yin Water Ox during the day. I think the day
I
master.
know you are.
Yeah.
You're an earth, you're actually an earth ox, metal, water ox. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. And so the monkey is the best friend of the snake. It'll be a good year for you, Jen. It'll be a great
Okay.
year. And it combines to make water. And so if you are a water, if you
Uh-huh.
are a water sign, it brings friendship and relationships. So
Oh,
being a
okay.
friend or connecting with friends or being in social circumstances this year. And you might
Yeah.
not be able to get ahead financially. Money might be a little harder for you because whenever we have this, the element come along that competes, it's harder to
Okay.
accumulate money.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
don't worry, just spend a little and enjoy yourself.
I'm still not working. March 6th.
You're still
You're
not working?
no, so that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just
And
enjoy
Rowan's a
it.
monkey. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
we
have a
hope to
special.
see you.
Oh,
We hope to
okay,
see you this year.
great.
Yeah.
I would love to see you guys.
Just well,
Okay, I'm
just
muting
me.
you. I'm
I think
muting.
just me. Yeah.
Okay, Rowan, that little cutie, he's getting big. It's so strange how kids just suddenly get big. You're like, oh, and then suddenly they're 10, and then a moment later they're like 15. Anyway, it's pretty crazy. Okay, good night, everyone. Thanks for coming. Please do book a reading if you're interested in some analysis. I would love to look at your chart and analyze it and tell you all the things that I can see about your destiny and talk to you about the year or about sometimes, the phase of your life, which is a really important aspect of chart reading, knowing the phase that you're in. And it was such a delight to see so many of you on the call tonight. So I love you all and I appreciate you coming and listening and caring about this fun work that I do. It's a joy. We'll see you soon. Stay in touch. I'm here if you need me. Bye. Good night. Gong hei fa choi.